Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies.
Mr. Bob, I haven't seen you in a while.
Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me. So alive, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight.
Good morning, everybody.
Lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. Can make me move.
I think I need DJ Latasha to curate my morning music.
All right, Miss Lisa, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Ready. Morning. I'm looking at the chat box. Hang on, let me close this out. Good morning. Good morning. Cheryl, that's okay. Just finished a workout. Good job. Good job, Cheryl, not me. All right. Happy Aloha Wednesday, everybody. Okay. Has anybody else felt like, I don't know if it's just me, sometimes it's like the planetary alignment. Last week to me went by super fast. This week on Monday after work, I was on the phone with somebody and I was like, is it Friday yet? And I was serious. I wasn't like kidding. And it's Wednesday and it's felt like the long week ever, the longest week ever. Does anybody else feel like that? Or are you guys just too busy working? I don't know.
It happens on Monday. Mondays are weird.
Mondays are weird. And then I know sometimes, you know, I'm getting good. Not that I'm like a big astrology person or anything. I'm really not. However, I gotta say there is something to this Mercury and retrograde thing, which I don't know if it is right now. But what happens is if you ever notice that people are having serious challenges with communication, like more than normal, it's happening all around you, check and see if Mercury's in retrograde. I don't even know really what that means. I just know it actually does. There may be something to that affecting communication. However, right now, people seem to be communicating well. I know it's been crazy out there, so I trust that everybody has been productively busy, able to kind of look for, okay, I'm gonna mute him. Looking for properties for your buyers out there. Inventory is still tight. So who can tell me, since our last meeting last week, what changes have you seen in inventory? What's going on in the MLS? When you're waking up in the morning and you're looking on the MLS, what are you seeing in terms of listings coming onto the market, pending, closings? Nancy, go ahead.
Lot higher prices, like
Okay.
beyond market.
Yeah. So the sellers have caught on to what is happening with the tight inventory and go, well, wait a minute, there's a lack of inventory. So I'm in charge here and I want to exceed what the top of the fair market range is at this moment because I'm going to chase the market up. Right. So we're starting to see that happen. Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. Andy?
So a couple things I've seen, I've had sellers, not mine, but like I've had buyers write offers on a property. The seller gets too many offers, so they withdraw the property and they're going to bring it back on at a higher price. That's one of the things I've seen. And the other one is new listings that are already contingent when they get put into the MLS.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just did one in myself. I was getting a property ready to market. I had buyers fly into town. I showed them it. They wrote an offer on it. We weren't even in the MLS yet.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that today, coincidentally. So that's a perfect segue in terms of what you shared. So one of the things, and that's great when we have the opportunity to show them something. We just take a listing. It doesn't go into the MLS yet. And you guys, I mean, I just want to remind you, and I want to talk about this a little bit, and I'll let Michelle correct me if I say anything, if I misspeak. What I want to stress to you guys, and it's happened this week, Andy, just what you're saying, that people are telling me, I got a new listing. I just got a new listing. I just signed a new listing. I've got something coming on the market. And what I say to them is awesome. A, okay, you have the listing agreement signed. Yes. B, is it scheduled to go into the MLS, within the 2 days? Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes the answer is no, that they have it as an in-house listing, which is great. I mean, I don't know if you're having these conversations with your clients. Sometimes it's in their best interest. Sometimes it's not. You can say, hey, I can market this to our in-house office for X period of time and then put it in the MLS. Or if they don't want it to be in the MLS, you can still have it as an in-house listing, or you could do it as a participant only listing where it doesn't get syndicated. And I know the HIS is a little bit different in terms of its rules. So I'm going to speak to Maui and then you guys can correct me on anything that is different from HIS. But we have our private Facebook group and we have emails of all of our agents in the company. And both of those are huge opportunities for us to be able to help each other out. And hopefully, I mean, if we can't sell each other's listings, at least we can get to the table with an offer and get in the mix. So what I really want to stress to you guys is the minute you get that listing agreement signed and have permission to market, meaning that list date starts, right? You can't market. So to be clear, if I'm taking a listing and my list date is a week or 2 weeks from now, I can't start marketing now unless I have explicit permission in writing from the seller to market in-house during that time prior to when the listing goes active, meaning what your list date is. However, once your list date is in effect, you've got that time frame before it goes into the MLS. I believe it's still 2 days, right, Michelle? Yeah, 2 days. So 2 days is a long time in this market to get that word out to our group and say, hey, you guys, this is going in the MLS in 2 days, heads up, call me, whatever, because that's signed already. I mean, the list date has happened. So you can bring an offer that day. So I just really want us to make sure that we're doing that for each other. And also you can do an email blast to the office. So I would say it's front desk. I'm not sure who it should be now. I don't know who's going to do that now, if it's Latasha, or maybe what I could do is just give you guys, I mean, I don't want you to abuse if I give you all the email for all the associates, fine, we can email blast that. I just don't want people to start abusing that and do that all the time. Any questions comments, suggestions, because this has happened a couple times where I've told people about these listings and they've had buyers that are within our office. And fortunately, they've been able to connect. I don't know. I think one of them went into escrow. But any thoughts about that? Any questions about that? Clarity needed?
Lisa,
Yes.
Antonita put out to the Big Island a spreadsheet where you can put in your listings or put in your needs. I'm sorry, your needs of what
That's the
the
buyer
buyers are
side.
looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got that on the buy side. I mean, we could certainly create, so we do have that spreadsheet, which is a good reminder, Andy, that I sent out to you guys to all have access to, where you can input buyer needs right now that you have where you can't find a property for them. And we have people that are calling, looking for properties for your buyers. So that is also happening. We could certainly create a listing tab for that same spreadsheet where you could input those, where it's almost like an internal hot sheet for our office, but you just got to look at it every day, right? So you would just go in and look at it every day, just like you're doing with the MLS. Would that be helpful to you guys? Would you utilize that? Or do you want to stick with email blasting and Facebook posting of stuff? Do you want a spreadsheet? Are you guys going to use it? If we put a listing spreadsheet on there, you're going to put your listing and the list date? Yes, Michelle.
I prefer a spreadsheet because it's something that could be a live document that anyone can go into and view or pull up versus flooding our boxes that are already very full with email.
Okay, so we can do the spreadsheet. We'll just have to figure out the logistics of what happens after it's been in there for a while. You know, I mean, you can go in and the newest ones maybe are on the top. It can be sorted by list date. And then it'll just start to be a long one. Yes, Michelle, because we have a lot.
Can we have it where it's a pullout of the MLS? Can we tie it to the MLS? So if the agent updates the listing, active to pending, it'll pull it off that sheet?
I have no idea how we could, I don't think that's possible. Yeah, that would be ideal. The point is right now we're kind of quick and dirty in this because we just have got to get the info out there. Maybe as a future, this is kind of what I said about the buyer sheet too, is like, you guys, we just have to do it so we can get it out there. And then I think figuring out a better, like a permanent system would be future. So yeah, I mean, that would be fantastic. I just, right now, I don't know. I would say, let's just get them up there because I really want you guys to make sure that you're seeing each other's stuff. Yes, Nicole and then Carol. Questions?
Hello. So quick
Hello.
question. Can we get
Yes.
some clarity around, because I've had a couple of agents ask me, they're like, you know, I'm going on a listing appointment. I want to know if anybody's got a potential buyer so I could walk through the door saying we may have a buyer in our office.
Yeah.
And so can we get clarity around if we can use that list for that?
The
Just
answer is yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you, thank you, thank
totally.
you. That would be great.
That
The
would be
answer is
awesome.
yes to the
Yes.
if we have buyers for that listing.
Oh, well,
Thanks,
okay.
Karen.
Let's not make it a blanket thing because we don't want to be one of those people. That's not good to say, oh, I have a buyer and we don't. So yes, use the spreadsheet. I think that's great.
Okay.
Although Keone's
You know,
probably right, then in general, you might.
I see logistic problems with that spreadsheet, right? Where do we find it? All that kind of stuff that people won't do it. It might have to be a staff thing, right? And where the agents just would email staff and say, here, this is my listing. And these are the, the columns, right? And then somebody central should input this thing because otherwise
Again, maybe in the future we do that. I think because of the time sensitivity to this and, agents, you can be trained to do this. Am I right? No, I mean, we could facilitate it later. Yes, that might be better. It's just for the sake of time right now. Now, what we could do, Keone, though, is figure out where the access is and put it in a place that's easier to find, right? So they don't have to go search for the email. So maybe it's pinned somehow on the homepage of the intranet, or I don't know how to do that. We'll talk about it in our next meeting after this. That's a great idea, though, to make it more accessible and visible because, that's a great idea. In fact, it could be, okay, I have a couple of ideas. Let's talk about that in the next meeting. Good point about accessibility though. So
10-4.
Okay. Bob, wait, let me just make sure. Carol and then Bob.
Hi, Lisa. Fast question. Okay, so as you know, I'm new to Hawaii, but okay, So can't you just say you have a pocket listing or coming soon listing? Because I know they could do that in other states.
We do not. So for the sake of just in general, we stay away from the term pocket listing. We do not, I'm not going to say we don't, like the MLS, they'll say they don't allow and people say, well, we don't allow the term. It really depends on what you mean by it. So the advice is to stay away from that term. And we don't, so in other states, they will allow a longer period of time, for example, or a different withholding rule about the MLS, although a lot of that was changed last year, whenever clear cooperation policy was changed for NAR to try to avoid people keeping pockets outside of the MLS or doing their own MLS because they felt that it was an unfair advantage and that was against NAR's rules. So most of the states have tightened up on that in their MLSs, not all. But every MLS has a different rule regarding what you can do and how long you can keep a listing off the market. So for us, it's such a short period of time. I mean, you would technically have a pocket if it's not on the MLS within those 48 hours because you have it signed. But people were using the term pocket listing without signed agreements, meaning, okay, I talked to somebody and just to be clear on what you cannot do, Carol. So I talked to somebody who has a property in Kula, my neighbor, and I talked to them about maybe selling because of what's going on in the market. And they say, well, I would sell it if you bring me a buyer for X, but that's it. And I say, okay, great. Would you sign an agreement that says that? And they say, well, no, just bring me somebody and then I'll sell it. And then you start telling somebody, oh, my neighbor will sell his house if we can do it for X. You cannot do that. You don't have written permission to market. You don't have a listing agreement. You don't have anything signed. So that's where people were saying I have a pocket, meaning I know somebody that's going to sell if I bring them a buyer, but I have no written agreement. That is a no-no. That's where you cannot do that. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I just know some MLS also have like a coming soon category.
They do have a coming soon category. We do not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for clarifying.
Good question. Good
And
question.
We do. We have a preview.
You guys on the Big Island have a preview?
We have a preview and you can keep it in preview for up to 30 days.
So what is that? Do you have to get a waiver? Is it what do you have to do to be able to do that?
No, because that just shows it to, you can't market to the public. That shows it to all the other agents.
So participant only. Okay, so that's similar to participant only in Maui. So you can get them to sign something that says, I'm going to show it to all of the people that are members of the MLS that are agents, but it is not going to be syndicated publicly. Is that what it is, Andy?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yes. Okay. So that's good. So so that is the way that HIS does it, is preview, which is basically participant only. Anybody who's a member can see it, but it can't be marketed outside of the agents and the members. That on Maui would be participant only listing. Great. Okay, Bob.
Yeah, with respect to this sharing of spreadsheet, it's pretty easy to do. All you do is create a Google sheet. And you can either have it on a shared Google Drive or you can just share the sheet. Try saying that real fast. You can share the sheet, okay? And you can give permission to certain people by their email address that they can view the sheet, they can input into the sheet, et cetera, the only people that are able, and that way the sheet, when somebody updates it, it updates it for everybody. And it also sends a notice out to everybody that's on the list saying, oh, there's a new addition to the list. Do you want to go look at it? Bada bing. It's easy to do. This is not hard to do.
Okay, so Bob, that's exactly what we have.
Yeah.
We do have the Google spreadsheet. I think Keone's point was, so yes, thank you. That is exactly what I did. I think Keone's point was, how do then people find it, like the accessibility? If they know how to use Google and they know how to say shared with me and search for it that way, they can do it. But if they don't, where do they find the link easily to click on where they're normally going? But yes, I understand. I just put the link in the chat box so you guys have it as a reminder.
But
and if you have,
you
shared
can
with
also,
me.
You can also send an email out to all those people that you shared the sheet with, that they now have access to it and you can put them on a push alert.
Oh, a push alert. That's a
Yeah.
good idea. Okay. So they do all have the
Anytime
email
there's been an
access.
update to it, it sends a note out to everybody saying, there's been a change to the sheet.
That's a great idea. Okay. Love that.
No, don't do that. Then that's just a mass of emails.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, but that's
a
the
mess.
point is then you'll get it when there's a new listing. Don't you want it when there's a new listing inputted? I mean, I would think that's what we want.
If you make a correction on that sheet, you take away a letter, any revision.
Okay, we'll talk about this in the next meeting with our executive team.
But
We'll
it
figure
can be
out.
done.
Trust. Yes, thank you, Bob. Thank you, thank you. Okay, a couple other things I want to make sure that, and that's a good thing. I'll bring that up at the meeting as well. As far as alerts, we'll talk about that. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my opinion is that's my job. And that's like the most important thing to me. And what I would care about is like what's going on and how to find properties for buyers and new listings. Because again, wouldn't, you know, think about the advantage that you have where you would be normally getting that in the MLS. I understand what you're saying about corrections. That I understand that. Okay. Next is, okay, ISAs, and then I'm going to go to a couple other quick topics. So I wanted to remind you guys, you know, we are still looking for inside sales agents, a couple things that we're still looking for as a company. One is we're looking for inside sales agents that are open to calling, basically, and it can be, in this case, potentially, it could be one of our agents, but then we have to kind of talk about it because one of them is like a job, and then the other one you could do potentially and still be an agent. But basically, we are looking for people to call either